He had no ancient claim to Westeros, no vast army, no right to a single kingdom in the land. He had 3 dragons, and that was enough. Welcome to Westeros Within, where we journey into forgotten ages, hidden legends, and ancient mysteries. This is Before the Thrones, Episode 7, Aegon's Conquest, when 3 dragons burned a realm. For a century, the Targaryens had waited on Dragonstone, the last Dragonlords in the world, perched on a volcanic rock at the edge of a continent that had never known dragonfire. They were rulers of an island, heirs to a vanished world, Dragonlords without an empire. But Aegon Targaryen was not content to wait. He had a table carved in the shape of Westeros. Every river, every mountain, every bay was marked upon it. But the table had no borders, no lines dividing 7 kingdoms. It showed one land, one realm. And Aegon looked at that table and saw the future. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with silver gold hair cut short, and eyes the color of amethyst. He carried black fire, a Valyrian steel sword, and he rode the most terrible creature in the known world, Balerion, the Black Dread, the last dragon born in the fires of Valyria itself. His shadow could swallow entire towns, and Aegon did not ride alone. His sister wives rode beside him. Visenya, the elder, stern and fierce, who carried the Valyrian steel blade Dark Sister and rode the dragon Vargar. And Rhaenys, the younger, whom Aegon loved most, who spent more time in the sky than on the ground, mounted on Meraxes, a dragon with silver scales and golden eyes. 3 riders, 3 dragons, and fewer than 2,000 soldiers. The spark came from a Storm King's pride. Argilac the Arrogant, fearing the expansion of Harren the Black, offered Aegon an alliance and his daughter's hand in marriage. Aegon refused the marriage but offered a counter. His closest companion, Orys Baratheon, would wed the princess instead. Argilac took it as an insult. A bastard for a king's daughter. He cut off the hands of Aegon's envoy and sent them back with a message. These are the only hands your bastard shall receive. Aegon said nothing. He sent ravens to every kingdom in Westeros. There would be one king from that day forward. And then he crossed the sea. They landed at the mouth of the Blackwater Rush, with fewer than 2,000 men. On 3 hills above the shore, Aegon built a crude wooden fort. It was nothing. A mound of earth and timber on a muddy hill. It would one day be called King's Landing. Aegon moved fast. While the Riverlords suffered under Harren the Black's tyranny, Lord Edmund Tully raised the dragon banner over Riverrun and called the river houses to revolt. The Blackwoods, the Mallisters, the Freys. One by one, they turned on their king. By the time Aegon reached Harrenhal, the fortress was surrounded. Harren the Black had spent 40 years building the largest castle the world had ever seen. Its walls were thicker than any in Westeros. Its towers were the tallest ever raised. He locked himself inside and refused to yield. "Stone does not burn," Harren told him. "When the sun sets," Aegon answered, "your line shall end." That night, Balerion rose high above the castle and plunged. Dragonfire poured down into Harrenhal like a river of light. The tallest towers cracked and melted like candles. Stone ran like water. Every living thing inside burned. Harren and all his sons died screaming in the tallest tower. The ruins still stand today, twisted and melted into the shapes that Balerion's fire gave them. A monument no one can forget. In the south, Orys Baratheon marched against the Storm King. Argilac the Arrogant rode out to meet him in a howling gale they would call the Last Storm. When Rhaenys descended on Meraxes, the battle turned. Argilac fell. His daughter Argella barred the gates of Storm's End and declared herself Storm Queen. But her own garrison delivered her to Orys in chains. Orys treated her with honor. He married her. He took the Durrandon stag for his sigil and their words for his own. Ours is the Fury. And so House Baratheon was born from the ashes of a fallen king. But the greatest battle was still to come. 2 kings joined forces to stop the dragon. Mern Gardener, King of the Reach, and Loren Lannister, King of the Rock, assembled the mightiest host Westeros had ever seen. 55,000 men, 5,000 mounted knights. They outnumbered Aegon's army 5-1. The armies met in the open field. The Lannister cavalry charged and began breaking the Targaryen lines. For a moment, it seemed numbers might overwhelm fire. Then all 3 dragons took to the sky. Aegon on Balerion, Visenya on Vhagar, Rhaenys on Meraxes. Together, the only time all 3 dragons flew in battle as one. They set the field itself on fire. The dry grass erupted. Walls of flame swept across the plain. 4,000 men burned where they stood. 10,000 more were so badly burned they could not fight. The rest threw down their swords. They called it the Field of Fire, and nothing like it had ever been seen before. King Mern and every male of House Gardener perished in the flames, ending an ancient line forever. Loren Lannister survived, was captured, and bent the knee. Aegon gave Highgarden to its steward, Harlan Tyrell, a reward that elevated a house of servants into one of the great powers of the realm. After the Field of Fire, the remaining kingdoms chose wisdom over war. In the Vale, Queen Regent Shara Aren trusted in mountains that no army could cross, and walls that no siege could breach. Visenya simply flew Vhagar over all of it. She landed in the courtyard of the Eyrie itself. When Shara returned, she found her young son sitting in Visenya's lap, asking if he could ride the dragon. No threats were exchanged, no blood was spilled. The boy got his wish. Visenya flew him 3 times around the mountain's peak. They called him the King Who Flew, and the Vale was Aegon's. In the north, King Torrhen Stark marched south with 30,000 men. But by the time he reached the Trident, his scouts had seen the melted towers of Harrenhal. They had heard the tales of the Field of Fire. On the far bank waited 45,000 soldiers and 3 dragons. Torrhen's lords urged him to fight. His bastard brother offered to sneak into the Targaryen camp and kill the dragons in the night. Instead, Torrhen crossed the river the next morning. He knelt. He laid his crown at Aegon's feet. His people would call him the King Who Knelt. Some spoke the name with contempt, others with quiet respect, for a man who saved 30,000 lives with a single act of surrender. Only Dorne refused. When Rhaenys flew south to demand submission, she found the castles empty. The Dornish had melted into the desert. At Sunspear, only one person waited, Princess Miriam Martell, old, blind, and utterly unbowed. "I will not fight you," she told Rhaenys, "nor will I kneel to you. Dorne has no king. Tell your brother that." Rhaenys warned her. "We will come again, princess, and the next time, we shall come with fire and blood." Mariah answered, "You may burn us, my lady, but you will not bend us, break us, or make us bow. This is Dorne. You are not wanted here. Aegon could burn Dorne, but he could not make it bow. Dorne would remain apart for generations yet." With 6 kingdoms under his rule, Aegon marched to Oldtown, the oldest city in Westeros. The High Septon fasted for 7 days, praying for guidance. On the 7th day, he opened the gates. In the starry sept, he anointed Aegon with the 7 holy oils and placed a crown upon his head. Aegon of House Targaryen, first of his name, King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, Lord of the 7 Kingdoms, Protector of the realm. And in his new capital, Aegon commanded that a throne be built from the swords of the defeated. 1,000 blades surrendered by the lords who bent the knee and taken from the dead on the battlefield. Balerion's fire melted them together, twisted, fused, beaten into a monstrous seat of jagged iron. It was ugly, it was uncomfortable, it was meant to be. A king should never sit easy, Aegon said. And so the Iron Throne was forged. The seat that men would kill for, die for, and go mad upon for 300 years to come. 1 man, 2 sisters, 3 dragons, and a continent that would never be the same. So tell me this, would you have knelt like Torrhen Stark, or would you have fought? Write it in the comments. And if you want more stories from the forgotten ages of Westeros, subscribe to Westeros Within and join me for the next chapter. Next time, the dynasty begins. But thrones forged in dragonfire are not easily held, and the sons of the conqueror will learn that the hardest war is the one fought within their own blood.